The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, residents in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera, and surrounding communities shaken up today after the body of a well-known mechanic was found in bushes at the rear of BPL. A local pastor joins me with community reaction tonight. Also, the acting parliamentary commissioner is out. The FNM says he should have been out long time ago, as he was not suited to the position. We talk about it. Also tonight, the Ministry of Finance is here to help you crack the code of doing business, getting your license, and of course, how you can prepare for VAT to be slashed in half on April 1st. Stay tuned for that a little bit later in tonight's show. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Police are investigating the death of a man whose body was discovered in the area of BPL Governor's Harbor location. Today, residents have identified the man as Newbirth Johnson of James Cistern. The discovery of the man's already decomposing body put the community on edge, with people asking a lot of questions. Well, we're hoping to get some of those answers for you, as well as new information this evening. Joining me now is Pastor Orlando Thompson. He is pastor of Global Outreach Ministries in that surrounding area. Good evening to you, Pastor Thompson. Thank you very much for joining me here on Beyond the Headlines.
Good evening, Shanique, and to the viewing audience of Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you very much, and good evening again. Now, the police report from less than an hour ago says the man's body was in an advanced state of decomposition. Was he reported missing at all? Was there sort of a search or questions about his whereabouts for a few days?
Well, there were some persons close to him that were concerned that, he wasn't showing up. I know that he was in Governor's Harbor for a particular reason. I don't want to preempt what the police will release out there, but there is some stuff that I do know pertaining to his demise and justifying him being in that area. By all indications, for my satisfaction, without preempting what the police would say, I am thinking that it might have been a case of a medical emergency that he might have experienced, and ultimately had succumbed to that situation.
Oh, it's quite unfortunate. And so persons didn't know his whereabouts for a few days then?
Yes, ma'am. He had been missing for a few days.
Wow. Now, did he live alone or did he live with somebody? I mean, so that they immediately, was there a search?
Well, he had built himself the house. He lived by himself, and he most of the time he was to himself, other than when he gathered with the boys of the community, or he would traverse to other communities and, hang out a bit, have himself a good time. But he did build himself a home. He lived there with a cousin of his for a period of time. But in recent weeks, he was all by himself at his residence.
Right. Now, Pastor Thompson, I know he's a relative of yours as well. The community shaken up by this discovery. I mean, it's not very often that you hear of this type of sort of crime scene initially that took place at Governor's Harbor today. Can you describe their responses and what's the mood there this evening?
Okay, well, we live in the settlement of James Cistern, and he has left here 3 other siblings that also live in James Cistern. There is Simon Johnson, then there is Alexander Johnson, and also Solomon Johnson are his 3 living brothers that live here in James Cistern. You can't imagine what they might be experiencing right now, getting a call that their brother may have been discovered deceased, and all of the emotions that would race after that. They are very closely knit family, particularly those three brothers. Nebert lived away from them. They lived basically in the same yard, those three brothers, the names that I called. And so they would get together from time to time. Nebert would do work on their vehicles from time to time because he was a local mechanic that serviced various persons and their vehicles in the surrounding communities.
Talk about his love for that, because that's the first thing people led with when they informed me of this, after seeing the police report, alerting the public of what the discovery was. Everyone immediately obviously went about trying to determine who this person is, and once they did, immediately they were, oh, he is a well-known mechanic in the area, everyone knows him.
Yes, listen, Nebert had been in the mechanic field for practically all of his life. Even as a youngster, he gravitated towards machines and that kind of working, bicycles, that kind of thing. As a little boy, I remember growing up, he always was one of those that, the kind of fix-it individuals in the community. And he did that all of his life.
Obviously, again, foul play initially, as you and I can determine this evening, based on what you said, that it is initially determined that he may have suffered a medical emergency perhaps a few days ago. Just discovered this earlier today, that foul play is not suspected at the outright.
Well, you know, we leave all of the final analysis to the police. They are the professionals. And then I suppose an autopsy would have to be done so that you can finally set to rest any speculation that we might have, or any ideas that we might have put out there of what may have happened to Nebert. And so we leave all those stuff to the people that have the know-how and to give a credible conclusion as to how he would have met his end.
Meanwhile, for his immediate family, which includes you, also for the residents of Governor's Harbor and James Cistern and all the other surrounding communities, I'd give you an opportunity just to perhaps speak some sort of peace to them this evening.
Well, I would say this, you know, when somebody dies, especially in a matter like this, it's never easy. It's always a shock. And so the initial hearing of this situation, really people were in shock, and it's like, wow, it was a wow moment for so many people. And then you start to wonder, you know, how could this happen and all of that. But, you know, in the midst of life, you know, death has to come. And in the midst of all of that, it's always good when we can take solace in knowing that we know the Lord. If you know him, and we know that he is a God of all peace, and he can bring peace in the midst of every storm. When there's death, he can be your comfort, and he can be the one that causes you to have peace in the midst of the storm that you encounter.
Pastor Orlando Thompson, pastor of Global Outreach Ministries, thank you very much, sir. Of course, thoughts and prayers to you and the entire communities that are impacted this evening. Thank you for speaking with us. Once again, Pastor Thompson is responding to and speaking of the discovery of a decomposed body there in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera, in the area of BPL. Turns out to be someone who is known to several communities in the area, a well-known mechanic, Nebert Johnson. Absolutely. Thank you very, very much for sharing your thoughts with us, and also those of the community, letting us know a little bit more about the individual who was discovered earlier today. Thank you once again, Pastor Thompson.
Thanks for having me, Shanique.
Beyond the Headlines is back right after this. What is the story behind the dismissal of the acting parliamentary commissioner? We have that and a lot more coming up with Hot Topics after the break. Stay close.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best-kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
What? You don't know what TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation?
You mean the Ministry of Tourism?
No, that ain't the same thing, buddy. The Tourism Development Corporation helps develop and grow behemoth businesses in the tourism industry. You hear what I say, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do?
What does do?
Hey, check the website, man.
Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
Who are the boss for dancer?
International events and production, Alive, Bahamas Air, Everybody Wins Live, and Field of Vibes Bahamas Weekend presents
the Evolution Concert on Saturday, March 29th at Clifford Park, featuring Vibes Cartel and Friends.
Bahamas, Nassau, where you see Saturday the 29th of March.
It's one of the biggest events to hit the shores of Nassau, Bahamas.
Get ready for Adi the Teacher, the Dancehall King, aka the World Boss, Vibes Cartel.
Real bad man, no muggle in a shot.
Log into our official airline Bahamas Air for travel specials. It gets better. We're also giving away a brand new Cybertruck.
And up to $50,000 in cash and prizes at the concert. Compliments of Everybody Wins Live.
Log into our website, feelthevibesweekend.com.
For tickets, tables, skyboxes, and more info.
Visit Ticket Flair or email intlevents242@gmail.com.
WhatsApp or call 1242-808-2369.
I remember Cartel ever did it.
I was an electrician for 18 years. And one day I just lost my sight and found that I was in a totally new world. I just found this strength that came from nowhere. And here I am today. Even though I am faced with disabilities, the fire in me, it never went out as related to me being an entrepreneur. But the barrier is just people being understanding and willing to take a chance on somebody like myself. My dream is to see where the government can really pass laws, legislation to assist people like myself. And whether you believe it or not, we do have something to offer this country. We have to make people understand that we are here. And not in many cases we're looking for handout. We want to make a contribution. You gotta live. And part of living is that you gotta take charge of your life. And through programs like this with the SBDC, I know for a fact that my business can now come to life.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. An abrupt switch up as former acting Parliamentary Registrar Commissioner Arthur Taylor reportedly requested a transfer out of his top post months after allegations surrounding what critics described as a poorly ran local government election. You all remember that? When some polling stations opened after 1, they supposed to open, I think, 8 in the morning. It was just a whole confabulation. But government officials say the move was not done on their behalf. Linton Ritchie Jr. has the story, and then we come back with some thoughts.
Minister of National Security Wayne Munro seeking to clarify reports concerning acting Parliamentary Registration Commissioner Arthur Taylor, who was reportedly transferred from that post. Munro, who has responsibility for the parliamentary department, however, said the move was at Taylor's request. The reported shakeup made headlines weeks following the controversial local government elections, which Taylor spearheaded and faced heavy criticisms shortly after. While a local daily reported that Taylor was removed by government and the recent local government elections played a role in the decision, Monroe said that was not the case.
Acting Commissioner Taylor had sought and been granted leave to proceed on vacation leave. I've been advised that he had written not to me, but to OPM asking for a transfer.
Eyewitness News reached out to Taylor for comment on this issue. He, however, declined to comment. Just 2 months ago, Taylor sat with Eyewitness News, seemingly hopeful of the changes he hoped to implement while in the chair.
I would like to see us having more time between the nomination day and election day. I would like to see us being able to do more cleaning up of that register.
Now, Opposition Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard says the abrupt movement could have been avoided had the opposition's initial concerns been heard.
PLP, notwithstanding a number of protests that elevated this gentleman, now they have made an about turn.
But to that,
nobody protested to me. So I don't quite understand who his protest went to.
And when pressed on if there's a concern with the post now being vacant ahead of the upcoming general elections slated for next year,
no one department is one man.
Now, of course, the burning question is how long will it take and who is set to replace Taylor here at the Parliamentary Registration Department. But to that, Minister of National Security Wayne Monroe offered no comment at this time. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Well, I'll tell you this, everyone is applauding that move. You all will remember that it was earlier this year during the local government elections, not just one area either, one island. There were a number of snafus where it just wasn't run properly. And obviously people were nervous since then because, listen, that's sort of like the trial run for the general election, which is huge. It's nationwide. It's multiple polling stations and a whole lot happening all at once. And that is when questions emerged about whether or not the acting parliamentary registrar, former now, could really sort of, manage the elections properly, the general election. Of course, that's a bit over a year from now. But that move, I'd like to know what the panelists think, because again, we remember a lot of what took place a short while ago. We'll get into it right now. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Our contributors, Leslie Miller and Michael Turnquest. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you.
Good evening. Good evening, Bahamas. Good evening, Bahamas.
Your thoughts about this move right now, that right now, coming up on April, a bit ways off from the general election, but that this move that the government has made, or that he volunteered to leave, or he was told to volunteer to leave, whatever it was.
Shanique, you listened to the minister said it was at his request. I think that day ask yourself who's running the government, because those elections were so botched. You would think that any government would have acted swiftly enough to put the Bahamian minds at peace and say, hey, we need to remove this individual because of how badly those elections were.
Exactly.
I would have got up. If I was minister, I would have said, buddy, you got to go. You can't. You cannot sit on the.
So you're saying like the week after?
He should have been gone. And then furthermore, I had brought something out on this show what had happened in the parliamentary registrar when certain persons would have been moved from one place to the next. In terms of it seems
the Defence Force story you're talking about.
It seems as though we have unqualified persons in a I would say one of the key areas. Key area where we should have the most efficient. People look at multitask, qualified individuals sitting at any head of that chair and anyone that sits in that office to be able to ensure that we have fair elections in any process, whether it be local governments, general election. We are now maybe 18 months, 2 years out from an election, and we now have to find someone who has knowledge in terms of how to properly run a general election. Mm-hmm. Which is, and I hope to God, I heard
you got very qualified fellows.
I heard, talking about the leader of the opposition about a Canadian. We don't need any Canadian firms to come into this place to run any elections. We have done this. I don't know if it's true or not, but we have done this seamlessly for too many years. From independence to now. Yeah. That now all of a sudden we should not have to go outside looking for anything. But to me, he should have been gone. and to come and to say that it was his choice.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We got to get real.
It doesn't look good. You're saying?
No, it doesn't. No.
Leslie?
Listen, the disaster that took place a few months ago, in the Family Islands especially, where some polling stations didn't open until about 6 hours later. Obviously to me and everybody else, and this guy was clueless. He didn't have his hand on the wheels.
No.
And I'm happy that he is now someplace else. And I'm sure that in this situation, the minister, as well as the Honorable Prime Minister, would put someone in there who has the experience and the expertise and who would have done it before, over and repeatedly. I'm assured of that. So rest assured you have someone there now who can get the job done, and a team that's going to work closely with him to see that the next election in this country is run fair and square, and the polls open at 6 a.m. and close at 6 p.m. without any sort of foolishness that happened in the last one.
You need no hiccups.
So that was a total utter disgrace. In fact,
You know what? People that can turn away from the polls just thinking that the process is not going to be efficient. They're going to have to go there and sit there all day to get in line. That right there alone will turn
or wait for certain polling divisions to open, polling stations.
Exactly. We wish him luck in his future endeavors, but thank you very much. See you later. Bye.
Listen, I want to talk about something that a number of people are talking about. The rumblings are getting louder and louder, and that is the state of affairs at CoCo Key. CoCo Key is one of those keys, like quite a number of others, where it's really a tourist hub. It's meant to be like a day away or a tourist experience. Bahamians go there and perhaps provide drinks. Whatever they do. But what people are mainly talking about is the fact that there are hundreds of people employed on CoCo Key. You think they, but Bahamians say like close to 1,000 people. And you probably can't find a good 200 people speaking English. And that is because most of the workers there are not Bahamian. Now, Leslie and Michael, this has really been talked about now for quite some time, a number of years. I guess people are now sort of paying attention to it all over again. Your thoughts about the fact that we have in Bahamian waters, yes, it's a private owned key. We know that. But the point is, though, how could agreements have been made and agreed to have foreigners speaking Spanish and any other language that they're speaking and looking totally different, than how we would look and present and show up. And they are working there, and they're the managers and the owners there. And it's been going for years.
You know, Shanique, I keep preaching on this because, we see this happening in other sectors. But, we continue in hospitality to allow, it seems that we try to dumb down our Bahamian brothers and sisters because, we have so many qualified, when I say qualified individuals in the hospitality field who would be willing to take on a lot of these senior executive jobs.
Don't get the chance.
And they don't get the chance.
Never.
I'm pretty sure we see about 80% of these jobs that might be on CoCo Key never actually go through the labor board. Or wherever they advertising. These things go straight on to LinkedIn, and I don't even know if they even come in terms. And if it's that many people working there, I'm pretty sure we have not seen 800 jobs go through LinkedIn that's been targeted towards the Bahamas region.
They were imported, okay? The workers were imported.
To me, it's unfortunate to see this happening in our number one industry. Whereas though we've been doing this for so many years, I think we've gotten it down to a science now. The same way I've always said in offshore banking and other sectors. Whereas though Bahamians are not giving the opportunity because we use this language barrier always as when we are an English-speaking country and say that, the qualification is you need to speak whatever, 10 different languages or whatever. And that's only an excuse. So a lot of these jobs that I think is only an excuse. They use the language barrier because they know we have good bit of Bahamians or certain languages we just do not entertain.
Exactly.
So to me, it's just utmost garbage.
Shanique, I've had the privilege of meeting several persons over the last few days that has either worked or was working at CoCo Key. And from my impression from speaking with them, CoCo Key is a country unto itself. And it's been that way for a hell of a long time.
It has.
They're saying that the pay is good.
But not for Bahamians.
Good, but the Bahamians are the bottom tier on CoCo Key. I'm told that you sign a contract for 6 months. And by the 5th month...
It's not like a plantation.
Yeah, by the 5th month...
Yeah, because I want to tell Leslie about, he said the food is good. The food is not really Bahamian.
By the 5th month, you get a month off. But you're not paid for that month that you're off from work. They pay NIB. That means you will never be able to work long enough to enable you to retire on the job and get any benefits as you get older.
But and it's so funny. So I'm 100% sure the persons who they bring in from abroad,
yes,
they're paying them
yes
for a 3-year contract. But Bahamians can't.
There was one fella that they said there's a guy there from India named
Yes. Leslie got the name and names.
Now this guy apparently don't care too much for Bahamians. He talked bad to them. Okay? And 5 Bahamians were fired last week. They say for sexual harassment or something. But he has been a very crude guy.
Reportedly,
and call him dumb and everything else.
Reportedly, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes, we don't know that for sure.
And we would wish him to appreciate that. So you're in a country called the Bahamas that is free. The people who you work for may own the key in the Bahamas, but they don't own the Bahamas. We flag our flag. There are over 100 different countries have representatives on that key.
Working there. Now, I'll tell you this, that I was just informed, I was just informed just a minute ago, right now as we are live, that the manager at CoCo Key is Bahamian.
No, Troy Smith is not Troy Smith is a Bahamian, but he is not no manager. Well, Troy Smith is probably number 5th on the low. He is the assistant to the assistant manager.
Apparently it's a female who is very qualified and experienced. Well, this is what I am being informed of.
That must have happened yesterday then.
This is what I am being informed of.
See, I don't want people to have Bahamians fronting to say you have this position when they know that they don't have the authority for the position. I said that concerning the last guy who's supposed to be on Paradise Island. Not that we have a problem with it. But don't use our people and give them these titles when they have no authority. Because the Bahamians who are there are complaining. One guy I met said he was there for a week and he couldn't take it. Okay, because some people harass them. And they are they have Bahamian women over there toting sand on the beach.
That's a lie.
I said toting sand on the beach.
So slaves, modern day slaves.
I said toting sand on the beach.
But I hate when I hear when we have imported workers who come in and say they do not like or it's said that they do not like Bahamians.
Yes.
Because I always remember a clipping of I think it was Celine in the hospitality when persons who speak of ill about Bahamians. Yes. We pack you back up, we put you on that bus, and we put you back on that plane and get anywhere. It's same as though you are not to return here. Yeah. You can go any place else, but not here. Because that should not be allowed, especially any employer who could claim or I don't care who, if they work for the employer.
In addition to that, Mike, they work 7 days a week.
Yeah,
you work 7 days a week over there. Mind you, they say the pay is good and they don't mind because the salary is good, they pay you by the hour. The problem I have with it is that why our Bahamians are at the lower tier end. For example, a couple of women who work in the hotel industry before, many of them, who were bartenders and the like, and other fellas, when they go on that job, you start at the bottom of the totem pole. And there's a foreigner always on top of you, and mostly Indians. The majority of them are Indians, Pakistanis, South Africans.
It seems as though we always tend to start out. Because a lot of these major hotels in the Bahamas, they start and you have to twist their arm and say, "Hey, this don't look good."
And I blame the Ministry of Tourism for this.
Well, I'll tell you this, gentlemen. I'll tell you what. See, that's been in existence now for quite a number of years. Yes. Let's talk about what's taking shape now in Grand Bahama. You all know the one of the big major developments that's happening. The Carnival Cruise Lines development there. The container. No. Grand Bahama now. Grand Bahama.
Oh, yes.
Bahamians are alleging ageism. There is a 51 or 52-year-old man who was afraid to come on the show. I wish I remember your name so I could call you totally in your government name. But he reached out to be on the headlines and wanted this addressed. Apparently, he's applied well over a dozen times. He is, according to him and allegedly, he's getting the runaround, and they're hiring younger people. Some people already engaged or have been promised to be engaged. So they don't want to pay him, and then they feel they want a young workforce or a younger workforce. He feels, according to him, that he's being discriminated against, but despite his years in hospitality, his experience, his knowledge of the industry, and the fact that he's like, listen, just give him an opportunity, because right now he's underemployed, because he's one of the people at that hotel there that they're just managing to keep open to keep some people in Grand Bahama employed. So he wants the fresh new opportunity at the container port that's being developed. And he says they are not looking at him. Matter of fact, they're not looking at him at all. He's applied there for a position more than a dozen times, and he feels as though it's because of his age.
What's his age?
I think 51, 52.
That's
no, it's prime.
That's
It's
prime.
it's still ready to work and can offer. But
he has
again,
many years to put forward in the industry, and he brings a ton of experience. And I tell people, anyone in that particular field, especially of large hotels, that's a very, very, I mean, it is challenging. You know, in terms of you multitask, there's so many moving parts in that industry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for someone to be able to manage that, especially a hotel that's now been sitting, you know, for how many years? How long? That year?
Over 10 years now.
And you know, I mean, they're barely, you know, keeping it together. But he's with the small workforce that they have, they're doing something.
But you know, we have to urge the government of Bahamas, and the minister responsible, Mr. Cooper, and also Dr. Roma, who I understand has been degraded somewhat on the ministry at this time.
Has been what?
Has been degraded, downgraded.
Leslie, you like to come here and drop
his responsibilities, I am told.
What is degraded? What do you mean? What do you mean degraded?
Wait,
Michael is one host.
Has been cut severely.
Hold on, what you say?
Has been the responsibility he had before has been cut severely. Okay, and that's a fact.
So
they can come on the show tomorrow and challenge me.
So who he fell out with? Like how did this happen? What are you trying to say has happened?
He fell with number one. You gotta be in number 10.
With the minister?
I don't know who the hell number one is. Y'all figured it. It's sure as hell he Philip Brave Davis.
Kenneth Roma, you know, if this is true, what Leslie Miller, I know Dr. Kenneth Roma. I know him very well. I know him very well.
Yeah.
And if you have been slighted and sidelined, then do come and speak to the Bahamian people. But we want to know, when you all go and negotiate tourism agreements and employment, are we only looking for employment and not for the upgrade and advancement of Bahamians? Because that's necessary. People need to be paid well so that their quality of life can raise. You know, you don't want to remain at the same level, gentlemen.
You sure a consultant don't have that job or took on somebody?
No, you're no consultant there. Stop it. Stop.
I'm asking a question.
Stop and look at this camera there. That's what you look at.
But hold on. Why you believe that they ain't got no consultants there?
See,
foolishness.
It's worth asking the question.
They ain't got no consultant. Every ministry got a ministry has consultants. But the problem is, I think it's time that the Ministry of Tourism put a task force together. All of these resorts that they give these head of agreement to, you need to check on them from time to time, every 3 months. Send your force out. Talk to the regular people, the line staff, who's not going to lie to you and say how the conditions are. Why is it that we can't move from A to B to C to D? Why is it that a foreigner is always on our backs?
But this is the issue now. There are a lot of the ministers that sit inside this government. They are out of touch.
No. Don't play that. Don't play that game. It's my dear. There are hotels here, the large hotels right here. It's been there for decades before this government was elected.
Yes, but
no. Wait, Michael, wait. No. Don't play the game. See, I will address both administrations who have ever served this nation. Mm-hmm. They both dropped the ball in tourism because you have got these major. Wait, sir. If you open your mouth again. You have got in these major resorts right now foreigners head of every Bahamian who is qualified, who is experienced, and who can do the job, and they've been the head of them since those resorts were established. And I'm talking on this island right here. I speak to some every day, a foreigner in charge of doggone buying bread.
All of them.
Thank you. Exactly. A foreigner in charge of buying bread because I'm speaking because Bahamians cannot go and purchase a loaf of bread. Now, what are you saying?
I said earlier at the start of the show that that's been happening from the inception of all of these large hotels.
All ministers of tourism have dropped the ball.
They've been squeezed, their arms have been squeezed, or they show, and then you've seen sometimes where they put Bahamians, then all of a sudden you see
they're gone.
Then they go, and then they come back.
40 years ago, we had top tier Bahamians at every hotel.
Britannia.
Not anymore.
Okay. All of them were Bahamians. Not today.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But back then, yes.
They couldn't buy you breakfast on a good day. And it's a disgrace. And the minister, please, man, step to the plate. Roma, do what you got to do, please.
Roma's been slighted and sidelined.
Okay? So, get him in the staying back out there to visit these places, the family islands, to try to upgrade our people, make them feel a sense of belonging. Because one lady I spoke to was so disheartened. She says, it's really disheartened to go there and be treated as fifth rate, that you got to put sand on the damn beach and tote it in a 5-gallon pail.
So you saying, wait a minute, Leslie. Wait a minute. You were saying in this hot Bahamas sun, the women are employed on CoCo Key to tote sand to keep sand on the beach.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Well, they become a little darker, so what the hell they done black anyhow? So I don't bother. You know, the damn Indians black too. But they don't carry the sand to the beach.
Listen to me.
It's time we send them back. They didn't leave where the hell they came from. If they can treat our people in that fashion, then you shouldn't belong here. you should go elsewhere. And that's all of them who mistreat our people. And there's over 100 different nationalities on that key. Over 100. And our people are the bottom tier in our country called the Bahamas.
I can read something.
That got to get fixed.
On good authority.
That got to get fixed.
I agree with you, Leslie, on good authority this evening. So any one of you all listening who spoke with Leslie about this in this same week right here, who spoke with him in the last couple of days, listen to this. Because you don't sit and complain and then don't take action. We do have a Department of Labor that's responsible for employment. Yes. Okay, so if you feel slighted, and you feel as though that you are somehow made to go and tote sand and all this sun, you are made to tote sand because the other people can barely speak English and serving hot dogs on CoCo Key, well then here's what you do. Here is it. The Department of Labor, in collaboration with the Department of Immigration, has been sending many expats back to their countries of origin once we investigate complaints of discrimination against Bahamians and our findings prove true. This here, and I hope I'm going to call this is from the Minister of the Public Service and Labor.
All right.
Pia Glover-Roll. She says this is disturbing to hear, and if it's true, please take action now. She says, I encourage any workers with complaints anywhere in the country to lodge their complaints with the Department of Labor. We have officers throughout the country, in New Providence, Grand Bahama, Abaco, Andros, Eleuthera, throughout. And if there is an issue that you feel slighted and you have an issue, then by all means, contact immediately the Department of Labor.
They get fired. You realize that?
Who gets fired?
The Bahamians get intimidated. That's why they're scared to go to the ministry.
You know, in a lot of situations, you know, there's something that that's ongoing now in Long Island that I have some questions, but I haven't gotten all the answers yet. But as soon as I do, I will be addressing that. But you know, Bahamians, my brothers and sisters, we want to go in our little dark hole and not speak up.
Yes.
If we're not willing to fight for what is ours, this is our Bahama land. Let's fight for this. We can't allow the foreigners to continue to come in and take it from us.
Michael and Leslie, I agree with you both because, like I said, I was contacted, me personally.
Yes.
And the gentleman who was making the allegations and the claims that he is being discriminated against because of his age in Grand Bahama, arranged everything and at the last minute pulled out. I only brought your case up, sir, because of this conversation here, and to further say, listen, others are making similar claims.
That's disgraceful, man.
Okay? But the point is, if you don't care about your future enough to speak out, you heard the minister a minute ago, she said, if you find this to be the case and you are being treated like this, and the employment conditions are as we are describing here this evening, by all means, go to the Department of Labor immediately, and if you're fired, come talk to me.
That line should be out the door in the morning.
Come talk to me.
That line should be out the door.
I'll tell you this, let's follow up. I like to try balance the field here on any discussion. I am being told by a very credible source that the who spoke with a manager, the female manager at CoCo Key just a minute ago, and says that no, everything that is being shared here this evening is not as is being described. That Bahamians are not being treated that way. There is a Bahamian manager who is in charge and has the authority to go and make things happen at CoCo Key.
Bahamian manager. Manager what?
I don't know.
You don't want no puppets. You don't want puppets. You don't want someone just saying what, and then all of a sudden you get.
Is she the personnel manager? That's what she is, a personnel manager?
Probably the sun on the beach. I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I'm just saying we don't need a Bahamian puppet. I'm not saying that that's who they are. But at the end of the day, just saying something when you have 100 disgruntled Bahamian workers who might just be timid and don't want to lose their job because we know things are tough. And people have light bills and things to pay and rent and things. So at the end of the day, speak up. Like I said, Department of Labor, the line should be out the door tomorrow if there are that many complaints or things that is going on down in CoCo Key and any other hotel around here.
Any resort.
Any of them.
Any resort, just our country.
They need to stop at the big resorts right here. Because
right here. Bahama,
resorts,
foreigners are heading every department in those areas. Every department. Listen, this is beyond the headlines. We need a part 2 to that, quite frankly, because, you know, it's time now that we start winning. When I say we, Bahamians, I don't care what field or industry you work in, and not toting sand on the hot beach in the middle of the day and trying to, how you could put sand back on Gold Beach.
We sell sand.
That's what I thought. I thought sand replenishes itself.
The sand comes in on the barge. And
so they got to go and leave it and put it there and level it out. Yeah. Leslie, I believe you. I really believe you stretching that one. I don't believe it. This is beyond the headlines.
I don't know.
This is beyond the headlines.
Need a new car for your business? Well, EV Motors and the Bahamas Development Bank have some news for you.
At the Bahamas Development Bank, we are committed to promoting Bahamian businesses and entrepreneurs. With our green lending program, businesses are able to access up to 100% financing to purchase electric vehicles for commercial and fleet use. We are so excited to partner with EV Motors for this initiative to encourage and empower business owners to drive green.
If you haven't visited our dealership on Tony Williams Starling Highway as yet, we have a wide variety of brand new EVs from some of your favorite brands, like Toyota, BYD, and Mercedes-Benz. As the official distributor of Kerry Commercial Vehicles, we offer a selection of high-performance commercial EVs. Currently, you can purchase the Kerry Cargo Van and the Kerry Elephant Truck, and soon, flatbeds and box trucks for all your business needs.
To access up to 100% financing to purchase an EV for your business, you will need to provide us with a few documents: the business plan or executive summary, business license, historical financials, relevant KYC documents, and the vehicle and insurance quote.
With an interest rate of 6.75% and a repayment period of up to 8 years, you don't want to miss this fantastic opportunity.
To apply, visit our website today at bahamasdevelopmentbank.com or give us a call at 702-5700.
Island Luck Sportsbook is taking you to the NBA playoffs. That's right. Every $20 bet placed between February 24th and April 1st earns you an entry to win an all-expense-paid trip to an NBA playoff game. Imagine being in the stands, feeling the energy, and watching your favorite team battle for a championship. The more you bet, the more chances you have to win. So don't miss out. Place your bets now at Island Luck Sportsbook and get ready for the experience of a lifetime. Weekly drawings every Tuesday at 3 p.m. starting March 4th. Visit islandluck.com/sports for more details. Who's ready to fly off to the NBA playoffs?
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. We're going to shift gears in this segment, and we're going to talk about a program and a seminar that's upcoming by the Department of Inland Revenue. Of course, you know, they are an arm of the Ministry of Finance. But it's awesome, all to benefit you. So we're going to speak this evening with Beaumont Todd, who is the Training and Communications Manager in the Department of Inland Revenue. Good evening to you, Beaumont. It's good to see you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you so much for having me, Shanique. You know, I am excited about this program that we actually have coming up next week, which is going to be next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. It's open to all new entrepreneurs and those that are actually inside business. And a part of it is also to educate persons, because we know we have persons excited about the upcoming 5% decrease when it comes to.
Oh yes, what are you hearing about that? Because people are already, I mean, they want almost shop now for then. That's how the anticipation is to say, listen, you mean all this grocery everywhere going to be slashed, like the VAT slashed in half?
So what we're definitely doing is, a part of the seminar is not just to address those persons who are looking to open their businesses, also to educate persons about that regards of how the VAT change is actually going to be, as well as we are in collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce. We're going to actually be doing a Zoom meeting for some of their members, actually on the 21st at 6 p.m. to discuss.
So that's to get businesses and get them a head start.
Businesses a head start so they can get prepared for what's actually going to be coming in line with that. So when persons come in, there's smooth running so persons can do. And in a lot of ways, just like how when we have the back to school VAT holiday, it's just how they're going to manage that to make sure that persons are able to benefit from it without having any problems at all.
That's really awesome. Can you give all of us perhaps sort of a sneak peek? I know you're inviting even persons who have questions and want more information about the new VAT rates starting April 1st. I know you're inviting them as well because there's going to be a portion of this seminar tailor-made just for them, which is everyone because we all shop. But can you give us a sneak peek of what is it some information that you will share next week?
Well, definitely. Next week, we are going to be at the National Baseball Stadium, located right here on, we'd say...
University.
Actually, I always mix it up between the Bahamas Games Boulevard, directly opposite GHS, because we're going to be at the new National Baseball Stadium. Persons are invited to come. It's between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tuesday and Wednesday. And the idea is we're going to have a number of our different departments there as well. So we're going to have the real property tax, first home, persons dealing with short-term and condos, as well as VAT area, those that deal with general processing. Because the idea is for persons to be able to come in and get the assistance they need with all areas. The setup is going to also be where we will be having miniature, basically lectures and presentations throughout the entire seminar that'll be discussing these different things, including the VAT presentation, how you need to file for VAT, what you need to know even with the changes that's actually coming with VAT, how when you're looking to start your business, if you're doing a commercial versus a home-based business, how that's affected by your real property tax. Because we understand a lot of times.
And because there are different requirements for the VAT in terms of whether it's home-based or
if it's a commercial-based business. And we understand, a lot of times persons are excellent at what they do when using their gift, but they still need the assistance at the end of the day to make sure going through the process. And we know the system has changed within the last 2 years. So there's still some persons that still have hesitation with going online and doing the work. So we've been throughout this year having a number of different pop-ups, seminars, and different things to ensure that we're able to walk the public through what they need to be able to get the assistance that they need. And this seminar is one of those things that we're doing. This is actually our 10th anniversary of that. A lot of persons don't even realize that it's been 10 years. So this is a part of our drive for the 10 years anniversary to make sure that we're educating the public for what they need, because we want businesses to be successful.
Yeah.
If they're not successful, we're not successful. And I always make the joke, I'm a taxpayer too. I tired of dropping in potholes.
Yes, and so our tax dollars can be used, but that's a different thing. You're here to discuss how you can better equip businesses, and whether first time looking to get into business or obviously established businesses.
Even if you're an established business, or even if you just have questions about what do I do to start my business. So the seminar is going to have the Department of Inland Revenue along with a number of other government agencies, including NIB, Immigration, Customs.
Which is so all connected and so important to know.
So the idea is, if you're coming in with an idea and a dream, we would encourage you to go online to our website, inlandrevenue.finance.gov.bs, to at least start the process to put in your trade name. But even if you don't do that and you come to us then, the idea is by the time you come in and leave, you should be able to walk out with your business license, one of
So wait a minute, so you all having a one-stop shop next week as well. This is Tuesday and Wednesday for several hours from what?
It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 3
10
p.m.
to 3
and it's completely free
day.
to the public. There's no charge to come to it, so we're inviting persons to come through. If you're looking to start a business, this is your opportunity to get all of your questions answered. And even if you have real property questions pertaining to VAT, our team will be there to assist persons through the process, because it's not just you having your business license. We're looking for persons to start their business to get to the point where they're making millions of dollars, which means, guess what? You become a VAT registrant and you're a benefit to the country and to yourself at the end of the day. So that is the drive to educate persons. What we've also been doing is we've been going into some of the schools when we've been making our family island trips, and as well as having field trips, because we've had Temple Christian as well as T.A. Thompson, shout out to them at the end of the day, coming in so that we can educate them on how to start their business and even how to file their VAT. And this is all a part of what we're doing to help the public, not just to be compliant, but we want them to be successful. Because a lot of times persons start businesses, but then they don't know how to manage their paperwork. So we're going to have persons there from maybe BICA. That's
also important as well. It's something you want to drive home for the business owners and even new business owners and aspiring business owners to come in to understand the importance of knowing how to file the paperwork, not waiting maybe until the end of the year to file it either.
Yes. And one of the things we're hoping persons get by the time they leave the seminar is, how do I start my business? How do I operate my business? How do I market my business so that my business is successful? Because a lot of times persons can start a business, they don't know how important marketing is to their business.
Yeah,
so we're going to have...
It should be a part of the business plan.
Exactly. So we're going to have different media groups, including your media group, as well as the Guardian, as well as Alive, to be there to guide persons, BTC, to help them to understand how important all of these services, including Royal Bank, Bank of the Bahamas, to understand, guess what? You're not in this alone. Because a lot of times persons start a business and by the time we show up, they're like, oh, Jesus, I don't want to see the tax. I don't want to see the tax collectors. But
look at them armed and showing up at my business.
but a lot of times what persons don't understand is we are just, at the end of the day, the facilitators. We're not even the regulators. So it's a lot of the other government agencies that are the ones that are the real regulators. And we're just the ones that have to make sure at the end of the day that all the ducks are lined up in order for you to get what you need. So we're hoping persons show up, get their questions answered, get the help they need, because we also understand everybody doesn't learn the same way.
No.
So, and I know technology can sometimes be a little bit intimidating.
Quite daunting, yes.
So this is why we're putting out these seminars and different things to encourage persons. Now, just to switch gears a bit, in the month of March, we are also going to have for the entire month our VAT Education Month. So we're going from the process of helping you to get started with your business license to also helping you understand how you can actually file for VAT.
That's what you're doing this entire month?
For the entire month of April coming up, from April 7th to May 2nd, because we know it lines up with what's going to be happening with the change inside the VAT. So we want both the public as well as those persons and businesses to understand how to get through this process of filing for my VAT. When do I need to register? What is required of me a lot of times? You know, one of the things we was discussing off air, and I know persons sometimes mix this up, and it's something I had to learn myself, the difference of understanding between your business license and your TIN. Because a lot of times, you know, persons say, well, I got about 10 different businesses, but none of them are over 100,000. What they fail to understand is if you're a sole proprietor and you have 10 businesses under your TIN, it's those businesses collectively that add towards your VAT. So say you have 9 businesses that make basically $999,000 and one with $1 goes over, then what that means is you have to pay and register VAT for all of those businesses that are part of that TIN. And each TIN is different. If you're a sole proprietor, if you're a partnership, if you're a limited company. So if I'm a limited company and I have a different number of franchises under that, it's meaning that I'm paying my VAT based on the fact that all of my businesses collectively take me over the threshold. So it's things like this that we want to definitely address to make sure that persons can understand, because we know even on the family islands, you sometimes have a lot of businesses that say, well, I'm not making that much. But when you look, they got Danny's Chicken Shack, Danny's Hair Shack, Danny's Boats. And when you look collectively, all of those funds take them over the VAT threshold.
So you all have got to obviously pay attention to that and be very smart.
And this is why we're having these type of seminars and educational events to try to help the public, because it's not just us coming knocking on person's door saying we come to collect you out. We want you to be compliant.
Want them, and I wanted to put that in there to say, wow, how commendable of Inland Revenue to obviously, you know, your job is to collect the money. I mean, you were more successful that way, but you're saying, no, we also want to equip businesses that it's sort of a reciprocal kind of relationship. They're succeeding and doing well, and Inland Revenue gets its money.
And see, this is why one of the things we've been driven to do is also to try to get into the high schools and also into the senior highs, because guess what? We know a lot of the grandparents may be daunted when it comes to dealing with technology, but if your grandchild knows it, guess what? They can come and they can assist you. As well as when they want to start their own business, they already know these are the steps I need to take. Hey, Grammy, this is what you can do. I can help you along. So it's reach one, teach one.
That's really awesome. Again, this is, you heard, it's 2 days, several hours each day from 10 until 3 next Tuesday, next Wednesday at the new baseball stadium right there. Wonderful facilities, very comfortable, cool, all of it, really, really awesome. So it's comfortable for people to kind of mill about, listen to various presenters. It's going to be on the inside, so we don't have to worry about the weather or anything. And you're going to have a number of different agencies there. So even if you don't have a business license related question, you can come, maybe you need something from NIB, maybe you need something from, and you just need that assistance to get that cleared up, and they're actually going to be there on the ground to assist you with those questions. And we encourage persons to definitely, if they get a chance, to pre-register either from our website or all our social medias, which is DIR Bahamas.
to make sure at the end of the day you get the best experience coming through to help you. And bring all of your documents that you need. So when you walk in and walk out the door, we don't have to turn and say, no, we can't finish this because you're missing this. Make sure you bring all of the documents you need. I would encourage persons to go on the website to see
what those documents
the type of business that you're trying to start. So you make sure start getting those things in order. And when you get there, you'll have the different agencies to assist you as well. And we'll be glad to help walk you through the process for what you actually need. And definitely for next month, because we're doing a hybrid for next month where you can be in person as well as virtual, because it's not just Nassau. We're thinking about the Family Islands as well to try to help as many persons as possible to be a part of what we're doing to educate the Bahamas, because we're all one country. We, at the end of the day, want all of our people to succeed no matter what industry they decide to go into.
Yeah, it's really awesome. A number of people already saying that they appreciate this information you're sharing this evening because it's necessary. You know, in our nation, you heard us talk about just in the last segment about people working. Well, here is the Department of Inland Revenue trying to help empower you. Not just so that they benefit and come collect taxes at the end of the year, but that you realize whatever that dream is, that idea is, that you are properly, sufficiently informed and assisted so that you can go and begin being a successful entrepreneur. Is there a contact, a page, something that they can contact to be able to get more information ahead of Tuesday and Wednesday?
Sure. If persons have questions, they can email at dir_COMMS@bahamas.gov.bs. Let me repeat it again, dir_COMMS@bahamas.gov.bs, or they can call 604-8241, and I will answer the phone as long as I'm walking around dealing with something else.
So repeat that number again.
604-8241, and I'll be happy to answer any questions pertaining to the seminar as well as the VAT Education Month.
Yeah, absolutely. You're good, because even in the newsroom, I heard you speaking with a business owner and kind of just giving him the information he was asking and needing from the Department of Inland Revenue. Beaumont Todd, I'm the one who got your name backwards as well. Beaumont Todd, of course, from Manager of Public Relations and Education at the Department of Inland Revenue. And you've been going about around the nation really doing a lot of these kinds of seminars.
We've been in a number of the different family islands. We've been to Eleuthera, Abaco, not Andros yet, heading to Andros, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, trying to help persons with the different town halls as well as going into the schools and making ourselves available to assist persons. And we just want to remind persons quick, because the deadlines are also coming up on March 31st for both business license payments and real property tax payments. And this is a part of why we're doing this, to help persons to make sure that they can be compliant at the end of the day to get their business started off on the right foot.
Very good. Once again, thank you very much, Beaumont Todd from the Department of Inland Revenue. That seminar, 2-day seminar, is next Tuesday and next Wednesday. It's happening at the baseball stadium right there on, what is that called? Baseball?
That is Bahama Games Boulevard.
Bahama Games Boulevard. But you all know where it is. Really nice facility there. If you've ever attended any event there, really, really super. But again, it's free. Bring your documents, get in the room and get all the information you need. And you perhaps, as he said, can walk out with your business license and go and start being amazing and taking advantage of this thriving and burgeoning economy in many aspects. Thank you once again, Manager at the Department of Inland Revenue, Mr. Todd. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. I thank, of course, at the top of tonight's show, Pastor Orlando Thompson out of Eleuthera. Of course, in our second segment, our Hot Topics panel, Leslie Miller and Michael Turnquest. And again, of course, Beaumont Todd from the Department of Inland Revenue. I want to thank all of you as well this evening for watching and tuning in. I certainly hope you enjoyed tonight's show, but more importantly, learned something and be able to kind of just, make us all go and do amazing things in this nation. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.